Welcome back, everyone. We are here once again.
Yeah.
This is, I believe, episode 6.
Yeah,
Almost there. Episode 6, with one of your hosts, Aaron Castillo.
Adrian. Hey, guys.
With just Adrian.
Yeah.
No last name, just Adrian, guys.
Yeah.
We are here today. It is a rather lovely, what is it, afternoon, I guess you could say?
Pretty much, yeah.
No, evening's later. Afternoon. Yeah, it's nice outside, good weather, t-shirt time.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Today we're going to be discussing just some random topics about just different things, like what we like.
Talk about more about the geeky stuff that we like.
Yeah. It is Drinks and Geeks, so we're going to literally talk about the geek stuff. What makes you a geek?
Right.
What makes you a geek? Like, if someone saw you or you were like, hey, yeah, I do this podcast called Drinks and Geeks, and they're like, oh, yeah, like, cool. What's, like, so geeky about you? I mean, I don't think anyone would ask that, but, like, you hear geeks and you think, like, nerd and, like, into, like, video games or, like, collecting items.
That's a good question,
just into, like, something. What would you say to that? Like, what kind of, like...
I mean, pretty much it's, like, anything that has... some sort of nostalgia of, whether it's movies, video games, anime, it could be anything, etc. kind of something that you're passionate or it holds a deep place in your heart. You know what I mean? And I think that's the way I look at the word geek. It's like something that you cannot let go as an adult. And it's because of our childhoods that we have these attachments to. For me, it's collecting toys now, even now at my age, and collecting comic book magazines. I have like movie posters and books.
That's what you would think of, like as a geek, someone who does literally everything you just said.
A collector.
Like what you said, the attachments that we bring from when we were younger to now. I think that's probably what it is, and like it's crazy because like that word geek. Maybe even like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like that was associated as being like not so much, more of a negative thing,
or like an outcast, like, oh, you're a geek, you're such a, like, you don't fit in. And I think that's what people would interpret the word geek with, and it's not necessarily that. It just means that you have this urge inside you that you need to have this collection of things, and maybe it's bad that we do collect things like to a certain point where we're collecting things so bad that our room is getting so
just filling up space.
Exactly.
You're running out of room, running out of shelves.
Like my biggest thing I could tell you right now that I've collected over the years, it was movies. DVDs was the big thing for me, and I have like 2 stacks of boxes, those big containers that you've seen at Walmart, the ones with the handles where they have to wheel them out.
You have to pull that lid off.
I have like 2 big boxes of those I love the DVDs, and I love all that. I grew up with that, going to Blockbuster and everything, but it's just for me now, I don't have a lot of space for it. In particular, like I want to have like a movie room one day, but I just don't have enough space for that. Like, I think collecting movies was the biggest like trend for me, and I had to go out to the store and immediately, as soon as the movie was out, and they said the
release date it'll be at Walmart or Best Buy or wherever right now. Dude, that's when you had to get.
Like I was like, get out of my way. I'm getting this DVD. Nothing else matters right now. Leave me alone. And I'm adding this to my collection. Like, that was all that really mattered in that moment. And like now, I don't really have that urge to just go buy unless it's a really, one that stands out. I'll still buy a DVD, but it's rare now. Like that's kind of why I've gone digital, because I have like my Voodoo collection, and I can just literally at the click of a button just
swipe,
play, play. You remember the days when you guys would come over?
Yeah, quick story. So before Netflix, we had the human Netflix, which was this guy right here.
The human Netflix.
Just like he was saying, he had these boxes of, DVDs, and like he had this huge collection. So anytime we wanted to watch a movie or a show, obviously he would have it. But, nowadays you can skip forward, you can skip past episodes, you can skip to your favorite part. Obviously back then we couldn't. You would be able to fast forward and stuff, but like if you wanted to switch movies, it was hard. This dude, literally the human Netflix, would just like eject the disc, take it out, swap it in, put it in, play the movie, show us the scene, do the same thing, repeat. He would do that and Adrian couldn't watch one thing for like more than like 5 minutes, so we had to like watch one Jackie Chan scene from this movie. It was like Rumble in the Bronx. He chose this one scene. All right, that's it. All right, let's go to Smallville. I want to see this guy get thrown. And
oh, dear Jesus.
and he just eject it, take it out, like 5-minute intervals. This dude, he didn't have that technology yet, so he'd have to do it manually. So he's standing by the TV, pressing the buttons, ejecting the disc, taking it out, putting it away, getting the other one, putting it in, going to the scene, watching the scene.
No breath.
Exactly. It was just like the way I'm talking is how he would manage what we watched. Right. And it was fun to watch him do that because I was like, this guy is like sweating. Like his
hands are sweating.
This guy was clocked in. He's at his own house. This guy's clocked in. And that's how we would watch things. Yeah. Like there was so many things like we wanted to show each other. Yeah. That it was like, no, we like 5 minutes. All right. Yeah. Go this scene. Have you seen that scene, Aaron? No, I haven't. Nah, let me show you. Yeah, play it. And that was probably one of my favorite memories. It's just like the human Netflix. That's what I call this. Yeah, the human Netflix.
Yeah,
that's what I call this guy.
And it's crazy. It's like I have 2, the box containers, and then I have 3 book, like I call them like the book,
like the
DVD
CD sleeves.
They're like the DVD. I have 3 of those that hold up to like 400 each.
Damn.
I have to put everything away because it's so much stuff that I had to get rid of some of these DVD cases, and it's like it's the worst feeling ever, but it got so bad that when I had all of them in cases,
it's crazy how
they
much
were scattered everywhere.
That too,
And I had to, back then when I was a teenager, I remember asking my mom, can you buy me that DVD rack or this book rack? And
it's crazy how like
I had like 8 rows of it or 10, and it was so bad.
It's crazy how you have to buy those to store them because
that's the only reason why.
That's like there was nowhere else to put them. You couldn't just put them like on the floor, like stack them up, like that shit would fall.
Yes, yeah.
You had to like get actual racks or like those like sleeves to put them in because you just accumulate so much so fast, and those collections grew.
My mom knew that because I was a DVD collector. She's like, oh, we're gonna have to get another DVD rack, or we're gonna have to get third DVD rack. Dude, it was so bad. Like
just put them in the shed.
It was just it was like literally 2-3 DVD racks back to back, and that's why I eventually had to put them in the CD cases because it was becoming more bulky. The items around our houses and the furniture and just
furniture
everything
was always like, especially back then, bulkier. Like everything was bulky, but DVDs would be like that one thing.
That was the biggest one for me from as earliest when I was a kid. Very first images of seeing Blockbuster, seeing that when you look at a DVD and you would look at it from the front and you would analyze it, and then you look at it from the back and you're just like, what is this? Like,
and that's the thing. That's all you would see. Like, when you went to Blockbuster, like you would just see, or just to buy a movie, you just had the front and the back. Yeah, that's it. You didn't know anything about it.
No,
you just had to look at the picture. If it intrigued you, you're like, nice. And then you could read the description in the back a little bit, see a few pictures. That's it. That's all you got. Mm-hmm. You didn't be like, oh yeah, let me look up the trailer.
No, you couldn't do that back then.
It's like, maybe. Sorry.
Yeah.
Unless like maybe like on TV, like you saw like commercials about it and stuff, but like even then, like
that wasn't the platform yet. We didn't have the access yet.
Yeah. Like how Deadpool 3 came out. Everyone's seen that trailer.
Yeah.
No one's gonna go into that movie not knowing what it is, for the most part. Like everyone knows what it is, and if you don't, you can just look up the trailer and you're like, okay, this is what it's about. This is Deadpool. Even if you don't know who Deadpool is, it's so easy just to look up what it is now.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, oh yeah, let me see the movie cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who's this guy in a red suit with 2 katanas? Like,
right. Yeah, it's like guess all these questions when you would just look at a cover, and it would make your mind wander when you would just sit there as a kid.
Yeah,
that's why it took me so long
to choose.
And even back then, when I had my DVD rack, I literally would just stand there. I'm just literally like for an hour, like looking at my DVD rack, like what am I gonna watch? Like because we have that inner childhood of when you look at something that's fantasy or any kind of like
fire,
it just
whatever,
it makes your imagination go crazy.
Yep.
You're literally just analyzing, looking at a DVD for so long,
you're like,
and then you look at it back, and then and then you're debating.
But then that's how you chose, you know, like whatever you did, if you chose it, you go home, you watch it, and you're like, wow, that was cool.
The one I always talked about was in the 90s growing up was the Power Rangers, and I would look at that DVD sleeve, and I would see the cover, and it had all the Power Rangers on the on the front cover, and then I look on the back, and then I just see like Ivan Ooze or something. And I'm just like, what is it? And then that's when I became invested in watching that.
I think he's heard of him.
Oh yeah. And like the Ninja Turtles was like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, the Jim Henson ones. Those were like always on a loop for me because once again,
you'd go, you'd see it, and you'd be like,
I'd be like, Mom, I want that one. Mom, I was renting that every week, dude.
Yeah,
Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. Like that's all I cared about.
Crazy how it's so easy now. If we want to watch that stuff, we could just look it up. You know, buy it, rent it, watch it.
Yeah,
it's easy.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have to go to the store. We don't have to leave the house. It's just there.
And that's what's crazy. When Blockbuster was there, when we had Blockbuster, that was the thing. And then after when Blockbuster was no more, it was the Redbox.
Redbox, yeah.
And now don't even rent sometimes the DVDs. So and because everything, why? Because we have Netflix, Hulu, Apple, Disney Plus, everything. Yeah, we have an access just
touch of a button.
Touch of a button, exactly.
Easy. Yeah.
And we can just go on any platform and just watch it. And we don't like it,
skip it,
get away, or
back out.
Yeah, exactly. Back out. But
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
DVDs. Yeah, were a big trend, but also like a big collection of my geeky earlier days, which I still have. I don't need to collect every single DVD like the way I used to, and sometimes I would collect the same DVD 3 times in a row. I don't do that as much anymore. Like I've calmed down.
Calming down.
Yeah, I'm like getting older.
Technology
has nothing to do with
it.
No, but
getting older. Like what?
No.
For me, it was movies too, but the steelbooks.
Oh yeah.
And Javi introduced me to those.
Those are awesome.
So I was like, man, the steelbooks have like really nice cover art. They're just super like cool collectibles to look at. I have maybe like between 50 and 60.
That's awesome.
And like I haven't bought one in maybe like 2-3 years.
Wow, really?
Yeah, which is crazy because like I was buying those every week, dude. I was like, nah, because they would drop on Tuesdays at Best Buy. You'd go get the steelbook, and like I remember this dude fighting over Thor Ragnarok.
Oh,
and it was the last copy, and I was like, I'm over it. Like you can have it, dude. I don't care. Like,
oh, okay.
And I never ended up getting it, but like I never knew like people liked them that much.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was new to me to like buy steelbooks and stuff, but like people would go to just buy them.
Right,
like when Best Buy would open, I remember 10 a.m. Tuesdays, they would all go to buy whatever was released.
Yeah.
And then they would be gone. Depending if the movie was good, it'd be gone.
Yeah.
So steelbooks, was like a big thing. Again, they were expensive, dude. They could be like, especially if they were packs, they could be like $50,
Yeah.
Like I have a John Wick pack that has 1, 2, and 3. And then I also have a John Wick one that's 1 and 2. Obviously, the third one wasn't out, so I was like, oh, let me get 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So I have the Hunger Games pack. It has all of the Hunger Games in it. I'm like, yeah, let's go. But
nice.
Yeah, same thing. Like I started getting stuff digitally. It makes it easier, especially with an Apple TV. You can just buy it there, so you're like not taking up space. I have one floating shelf in my room, all the steelbooks, and then that's it. Like, okay, I'm good. I don't want to take up a lot of space. Yeah, I would say steelbooks there, and then what else?
And then just your like gear and like that's other stuff that I would say like it's like a geeky stuff, but like collecting gear and for me it was getting a camera and getting an electronic drum set. I have that. I have my canvases, collecting painting, like obsessing with painting, and then anything that's movie themed, and then buying movie posters and all that stuff.
I went through a poster phase.
Yeah,
because I worked at the movies, or when we worked at the movies, we'd be able to like get the posters, that was just cool. On command. Like, yep, I want it, and then I would put them up in my room. I had like a bunch. I remember.
You have a lot, yeah.
Like that was my background when I streamed. I had
remember that,
Joker. I had like Rogue One. I had Creed,
Black Panther,
La La Land, Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like, that was so cool. Posters was cool, but then I kind of got over it. I was like, okay, it was a good like 3 years of like movie posters, just having them up because like that was cool. Yeah. Like Funko Pops, I kind of started, but then I was like, nah, I'm not into it like as much as I thought. Like I have like a James Bond, I have Miles Morales.
Oh yeah.
I have Anakin Skywalker. I have LeBron.
Oh like, yeah.
I never really got into those. Like pops. Like I see people with them, and I'm like,
I never got into that.
No,
no.
Yeah, me either. Like
I still collect action figures. Like trying to get some of the toys that I grew up with.
What are some of them that you have? Like what are?
I mean, some of them that go back to my teenage earlier days is I used to have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 from the TV series, and
2003 1995 limited edition first
okay. Oh yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I was like, wait, yeah, I was like, yeah, from the 2003 series, and those ones I recently just got all four of the Turtles.
Nice.
And I have them in the box. I'm not opening them, and I have like a couple of like Batman toys, and I'm mainly Batman. Ninja Turtles are I don't collect every Marvel. There was a point in time where I had every Marvel toy growing up.
Damn.
I really had every single Marvel toy, and I lost them all, and then some of them just got sold, and then some of them just got taken away from me. One time I come home, and then me and my brother Art, we come home and they're gone. When I was like 13 or 12, and then I see them at somebody else's house. At my cousin's house.
Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I saw all my toys on his shelf one time, and I literally flipped out. I was like, one of my parents gave it to our cousin behind our back. And that really made me upset. All my car collection, all my Marvel toys, and I just see them all in his house, and I literally like shut down. It was the worst feeling. It was the worst feeling ever. I remember I was so angry.
Especially when you don't know about it, you know, like you didn't know.
Yeah, I was like, I come home in middle school. I'm like, where are all my toys?
It's like if someone gave away like your drum set,
dude,
and you came home and you're like, where's my drum set?
Exactly.
And then you go to like your
someone else's house,
cousin's house, and then you see it and you're like, huh? I just shook it.
Yeah, I got so mad. That's why I guess, again, as an adult, like now collecting things that go back to my childhood, because it's, those are things that I had connections with, and it's sort of like our emotional attachment, I guess that's why 100%. We have this urge to collect and to also like want to relive those past days, because those days were simple and that's all we wanted. Like we just wanted our toys and games and our movies, and like, I didn't have a lot of other things that I was attached to. I didn't have a lot of like friends per se, but materialistic stuff I did attach to.
I think things like that are just a reminder. It reminds you of a certain point in life, and it makes you feel like good. And then it just takes you back to that time. Like I can literally name, like if I went through each of my steelbooks and if I went through all of them and told you a story about how I got it and when I did, I could literally do that.
That's cool. I
could go through each of them and be like, oh yeah, I remember I got this one and this is why I got it, or this is what happened. That I can literally go back to the day.
Man. That's
dude,
awesome.
when I got the steelbook for Split, dude, it was only at Target, not Best Buy. I had to go to 3 Targets to get it. I literally went to the one here at Central. I went to the one at George Dieter. They didn't have them. And then I had to go to the one all the way on Joe Battle. And they had it there. So I was, dude, and I remember I was in my red car. I had no gas. And I was like, Aaron, how are you going to get all, like, you've already been to 2. Like, just go home. And I was like, no, I need it today.
Now.
I need it right now.
Right now.
Exactly. And I went to the one all the way on Joe Battle. And dude, I literally drove like 50 miles that day just trying to get the steelbook.
I remember that.
Like I remember just driving, and then there was traffic, and I was like, Aaron, what are you doing? Just go home.
But is it worth it? Hell yes.
And then I went, and I was like, there it is. I got it. I bought it, and then I went home and I watched it, and I was like,
wow. I remember doing that too a couple of times, being on the hunt for certain things, whether it was games or movies. I just recently, not too long ago, my wife knows this, I was trying to collect the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem toys. I wanted to collect all 4 of them. And there was one in particular, I was missing Mikey. And I went to, I kid you not, all the Walmarts in El Paso, east and west side, did not have them. I was going crazy. And then Joe Battle. I went far east side.
I think that's the worst, when you go and there's nothing. Like you literally did everything you could and it's not there.
And then it wasn't until like a glimpse of hope where I went to one like far east El Paso. I saw the guys, they were stocking the toys, and I said, please God, that better be a damn turtle in there.
you better have my goddamn
yeah, you better have Mikey in there. And sure enough, it was a lady, and she was stocking, and I said, she's like, oh, I'm stocked, did you need something, Mijo? And I'm just like,
Mijo?
Yeah,
you're 30?
Yeah.
Did you need something, Mijo?
Yeah. Because it's majority of adults in those damn aisles. Dude, every time I go in a toy aisle, all adults.
It's crazy how the toy and Lego aisle, dude, they're packed with adults.
Last time
grown men and women.
Yeah.
Just like
I bumped into some like older adult guy. He's like in his mid 40s, and then he was like looking at the Legos, and I was in the aisle with him, and he was with his son, and he was just like, yeah, these toys are really targeting my kind of generation for toys, huh? And I was like, he was looking at the Millennium Falcon, and I was like, you're right. It's just I guess once again it's this attachment that somehow is still deeper down you know, that we have with these connections with emotional attachments with material stuff. And I remember just seeing the lady put it back on the she was stocking the toy, and I grabbed that shit and I was like, yes, and I
felt good.
Put it back on my rack on my collection, and I was just
it's
like,
one of those where you can go home,
I can sleep now.
Sleep at night. You can just like, that's like one of the best feelings when you're able to, especially from like going for like 0 for 5 at Walmart. Dude, that's depressing, man.
Movies was worse though for me, I remember. Really? And games, well, movies more, and second were games, and then third were toys. But I used to get so mad when there was a movie that I wanted and it was not in stock. Ooh, man, because back then there was no Amazon, I'll pick it up, order at your door, put in my gift card.
There was none of that.
None of that.
Like they either had it or they don't.
And back then you had to wait, like I'm talking like 2 weeks, maybe even a month for it to be restocked fully again. And that used to get me so riled up. I remember back in the day, and I used to get so mad. As soon as I knew that there was a DVD, like I remember at Walmart, and I'm like, Mom, I need that one. Mom. No. We'll get food later. Mom, I need this first.
I don't need to eat, Mom.
Yes. Yeah. I don't care. This comes first.
Yep. Yeah.
So
it was the real deal. Like it was, like you said, life.
It was like bread and butter. You know what I mean? It was just that's how it was for us. You know. And I think, and you know, and being a collector or whatever, you know, we're trying to recap some of those moments of the stuff that we didn't get to really necessarily, like we had, but just we want to have those, it's like those memories back. And it's sad, like it's not sad, but I don't know how you put it. It's like it's a weird combination of like you want to relive those memories again. You know.
Exactly like you said. Like I think for me and you, it's not, we didn't have like the worst childhoods or anything, and it's not like we didn't have anything, but like, you know, we grew up in families who, like, you know, struggled in their own ways. So like growing up, we didn't have everything, especially with other siblings. Like you also had to account for them and share. So like you couldn't get everything you wanted, which I think is a good thing to learn at an early age.
For sure,
that you can't, you know, just because your parents are hardworking and stuff, and they're trying to provide for, you know, 3 or whatever children. So it's like, you know, you gotta win some and lose some. And sometimes it wasn't always fun. But like nowadays, since we're older now, we can just buy ourselves these things. It like takes us back. Like that's something you didn't have when you were younger, and now you do, and you're like, wow, like it reminds you of that time. And I feel like we appreciate it way more. Knowing that we got it ourselves, but like it reminds us of not having it. And then I'm pretty sure you're like in your house and you're looking at these things and you're like, dang, like this is cool. Like I'm nice. So glad I've made this collection and gathered all these things that, you know, I didn't have all the time when I was a kid.
It is a real like gratitude, appreciation now. And I think, when I was a kid back then, you know, cause my mother, she was always like gone for work, and she, you know, she worked at like a restaurant for about 12 years. She owned a restaurant for about like 12 years. So since I was like in second grade all the way till I was a senior in high school, I was about almost 10 to 12 years where she was working and we had to just go and be at a restaurant. All like we get out of school and that was the first thing. It was my brothers and I were coming home from school, staying at her restaurant until she closed, and she would be like, okay, mijo, here's $40, go to Target. And we would sometimes buy ourselves toys, and then we'd get bored because we're just at a mall, like we don't, because she, like, you know, and then she'd be like, here's another 25, go watch a movie. And then we go watch a movie, and then we come back and we're like, Mom, we don't know what to do. Here's $10 more, go to the arcade.
Like,
and then there we are in the back with some of the in the restaurant, we're just sleeping on rice bags while the cockroaches are just looking at us going
the roaches. No.
But it's because that's how I grew up. Like I grew up in a restaurant. It's unrealistic of how to grow up as a kid. But we had to find things to entertain ourselves, which was buying toys or maybe like a Nintendo DS. Or what was it? The
PSPs were also
PSPs. And we had to do that for hours, just sitting on a damn noodles.
Noodles, literally.
For a decade. That was my childhood, and just unreal, and how much sacrifice that my mom put into her her time with a restaurant. But it's because now I appreciate the things now as an adult, because back then I think maybe I wasn't as appreciative. I didn't understand how much sacrifice my my parents were doing. But that's why I was so my brothers and I the babysitter was the TV, the movies. We would just watch a movie, another one, and that's
which is why I think we have that just emotional attachment with movies, why we love them so much, because it just it's a comfort for us. It's definitely like you always say this, it's an escape, and
for sure,
I'm pretty sure every time it reminds you of those moments in life, like growing up where you had nothing else and that's what you had,
right
so not to get down or anything, but there's a lot of things that we now realize went from being younger to now, that these things subconsciously now they mean something,
exactly.
Everything had a meaning. We didn't know it at the time. But I think now we're starting to understand
it,
and it's that's why I feel we feel more appreciative of the stuff we have, the stuff we're able to get.
And that's what's nice, is that now we can choose whether or not that we want to, buy something or something that'll make us, feel a little bit of happiness in a moment, and those are the things I always go back to. It's if your parents were always working, and my mom was raising 3-4 kids at one time, and she was never home, and so it's we had to entertain ourselves with toys, video games, movies, and it's it wasn't a terrible childhood. It wasn't. I honestly think I could have had a way more worse childhood. I could have been out doing drugs. I could have been out with the wrong crowd. I could have met some really maybe crazy people or whatever. But once again, it's just that's all we had. We didn't even have we just had bunk beds, we shared bunk beds, and then we always shared a TV in the house. We never had TVs in our room. We just had one TV and share this game, share this, this whatever,
I remember, because back when I was younger, we had 2 TVs, one in the room here.
Oh, okay.
And then in the living room, my grandma would always have the one in the living room. She's watching her novelas and everything, right? And then the other one was the family one. Every Friday we'd watch a movie there. But it was also my sister's room, so they were sharing it. They had their bunk in there, so there's not a lot of space. And then obviously with movies, they wanted to watch, sometimes it was older and I was the youngest, so I couldn't watch them, so I'd have to go do something else. Which is where the games came in. I'd be okay, I can go play on the PlayStation in the other room while they watch the movie. But
I remember that.
Dude, I didn't have my own room until my grandma had passed away, and then that was this room.
Okay.
Literally.
Yeah.
All current. Just what's up, grandma? We had I'd sleep in my parents' room, and there was a I had a Spider-Man chair.
Oh,
and it was
nice.
like a foam one that folded out into like a little bed.
Oh, nice.
And we put it next to them so I could sleep because my grandma had her room, my parents had theirs, and then my sisters were. So it was literally 2 and 2 technically.
Nice, yeah.
Well, 1 for my grandma, but things like that, and like I would always just have to find things to do. Like you said, I didn't have my own space.
Yeah.
I feel like now we appreciate our own space.
Oh, for sure,
like for
man.
you, when you have your own like space to drum and just kind of get into that zone. Like for me, it's just my setup, being able to like sit down, play some games, or just watch YouTube videos or something. Like it's so important. I feel like now for me, just to have that space to like
you need your own like man cave or whatever. You need your escape room, because it's true, and it goes back again, because it's like we didn't growing up with my siblings, like we had to share everything. We had to I literally was sharing a bed with, well, at least with one of my brothers till I was literally like 18, almost at the end of 18, 19,
like throughout high school.
Yes, like I was still sharing beds with him, and it's just that's how it was. And growing up with those kinds of environments where you share everything, maybe not food, but sometimes I would even steal food from my brother. Literally, I'd look at his, like he'd be eating his like Whataburger or whatever, or he eat like a pizza, and then I'd be like, hey, what's that over there? I literally would steal his food. Sometimes, because it was bad. Like, because we were always hungry as high school and
you guys
young
were
kids.
always hungry.
We were starving.
Thing, like even my mother, like you know this. Every time you guys come over, like she's like, "What do you guys want to eat?" Like Adrian, get seconds.
I already ate it. What else you got?
You already ate it. Barely served it. Already,
You turned your back, and it's already gone.
And she knew that. She was like, you know what? Like you guys are boys. Like you're hungry. That's just how it is. You're just hungry.
Just hungry.
But you guys would scarf it down. Like I would eat. You guys scarfed. Like I've never seen anyone eat like you guys. You're just savages.
I know, that's why it's catching up to me now. I was 30, and like my shoulder, everything, and then back. I drop something on the floor, just leave it there.
Just can't get it anymore.
Nope,
you're done for the day.
But again, it's all everything that I collect now and everything that I do. It's just now I feel like it's because now we have the access to get these things, and
we can control them.
And it maybe once again, I still probably I wasn't grateful enough to how hard my parents were working to be grateful for some of the things that I was as a kid, and I didn't think of it, but I just thought, well, that's just the way it is, but that's why I always think
we don't know any better at that age, like that's, obviously you see things and you want more, and it's crazy, like when I go through stores and stuff, like obviously when you're doing the checkout, what do they have? They have drinks, they have candies, and that's how they get you.
That's how they get you.
Even now, dude, I'm just like, is that a Milky Way?
Is that a Milky Way?
Is that a Red Bull? Coconut?
Oh, and then like I remember even like in high school, like when I was getting obsessed with like buying clothes. Dude, that was a big thing where I remember my mom would take me to Target, and I would just like, Mom, I need to go to Express. I need this shirt. I need these kinds of socks. And I would just demand all this like high maintenance of clothing and
Express.
Like the most expensive things, because I just felt like, well, everybody else is wearing this in school. Why can't I have it?
Yeah.
And those were the other things that I wasn't being grateful enough for. And
I remember Express, dude. I don't think I've ever had anything from Express, but I remember everyone wearing like the shirts, ties, pants, like everyone always had something like that, especially when you dress up. It had to be Express. It had to be. And I was like, I think I just didn't like the clothes from there, so it didn't pertain to me, because I was like, I'm not gonna wear that. Even if I had to dress nice, I'm not going to Express. Like my parents would just take me to like JCPenney's, and I'd buy a shirt and some shoes, and like, all right, we're good.
Or back then when they would layaway things, you remember that at the mall?
Right,
I still got stuff on layaway.
Damn, you still have stuff? Nice.
Still got stuff on layaway from 2001. Check out my jacket.
2001 limited edition.
Those are my pants I'm gonna buy right now. Check them out.
They're all short and shrunken.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna get that jacket.
I'm gonna get that jacket.
Still there, 2001 JCPenney.
Still, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Cool.
Can't even
Still wants that jacket.
Get that jacket. I'm gonna get it one day. But again, yeah, just trying to collect all these things that, because I had, you know, we had to fill these voids of like the pressure of, you know, not fitting in and not be like, yeah, we felt like we were being an outcast. And that's why when people would tell you, oh, well, you're a geek, you don't have this. And it was associated, the word geek, with other things. And people thought you were like a loner almost. And people would tell you like, well, you know, you don't have that because you're a geek, or like, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, that's not what that word means now.
Yeah,
you know?
The word has just become something better, because like geek can be anything. Like geek can be someone, like we said, someone who just, you know, likes to have a lot of things, whether it's toys, whether it could be like it could be like makeup. Like that, you know, you can have like an abundance of makeup because that's stuff you like. You're a geek in that area.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like you're like someone who likes cars. Like cars,
there you go.
Like you're a geek in that because you love like different cars.
Exactly.
Love, like, it's like its own thing now in each respective like.
I didn't have a car in high school. You needed.
I didn't have a car in high school.
No.
Thank God, because I probably would have gotten in an accident.
I'm glad that I wasn't sort of like obsession, because if I was, I feel like I'd be more conceited. Like, check me out, man, 4x4.
Dude, I hate when people drive
and
like
just
this.
like, you know,
they're like
drifting. I'm gonna drift right here. It's manuals. Like, get out of here, man.
Like, I'm glad I didn't have a car, because like when I got my first car, I'm like, wow, like this is what it is to get your first car, to purchase
or
it
get
yourself.
a car.
Yeah, just get a car, like
just in general,
to be able to do it yourself instead of, because in high school you're not buying your goddamn car.
No one has money.
You know,
no one has like never. I'm sorry, like unless you're one of the kids that actually had a job. Yeah, I was already working, but that was rare. That was like only like 10% of the high school kid that was
even
actually
probably less than that.
Yeah,
maybe like 5%.
Most of the time, my parents couldn't afford to buy me a car.
Nah, barely afford their own.
And it wasn't until I was like 21 that's when I got my first car. But it was my grandparents who gave me my first car, and yeah, it was like a $2,000 truck, and it was the most amazing thing ever to get. And just to even have a car, I was like, wow, this is a luxury.
Like, I can go to McDonald's.
Yeah, I literally can drive through. I can roll down the window now. I can roll down the window.
That's how. The first car I had was the hand-me-down. It was my grandma's 2002 Chevy Prism.
Okay.
And it was the red car. We still have it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it went from my grandma to Stephanie to Erica.
That's so
to
cool.
Me.
That's awesome.
And I drove it for 6 years.
Damn. Wow.
6 years. 19 to 25.
Wow.
And then, about almost 3 years ago, that's when I got the Civic, the Honda Civic. Yeah, the blue one.
Yeah. Honestly, it does help when a grandparent or a parent kind of gives you a hand-me-down car, because again, like I don't care what anybody says, like it builds character when you get a car that's not 2030 or 2099 car, and that's already, so it has all the switch, it has everything, obviously.
CarPlay,
but I had a car that didn't have air conditioning, like I had to manually roll down the windows like this, you know what I mean?
And
so
dude, I remember when I was first talking to Desiree, we went on a date. I think I've told you the story. I still had the red car. We went to a park and we were just hanging out, right? And this was probably maybe the second time we hung out.
Okay.
Like just ourselves, right? And I liked her. And when we were leaving the park, it was already late at night too. That red car was already going through problems. Like air conditioning would be off and on. Windows you had to roll down. Doorknobs barely worked because they were so brittle. Like if you pulled it too hard, it would come off. So whatever, So I get in the car and I try and close the door and it's not closing. And I was like, like not right now. Like I'm trying to impress. That car is nothing to impress, but like I'm literally just trying to get her home.
Yeah.
In one piece, and my car door wasn't closing. And I was like, fuck. Like what am I gonna do? And I didn't have any like tools to try and see like if I could fix it. I had my phone, and the latch wasn't like locking onto it like it was supposed to. It was just like kind of hitting, so it wasn't going up and retracting like that. So it was just stiff, and it was going like this instead of like going like that. And So couldn't figure it out in the moment. Obviously, I'm panicking inside, but I can't let her see that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, she's like, oh, it's okay. Like, is it okay? I was like, yeah, I'll just have to check it when I get home. So I had to take her home, but I had to hold the door the whole way. And mind you, she lives in Central, and we're on the east side, by like Americas. Like over there. So it's a drive. It's like 20 it's 20, 25-minute drive from
that's a long drive.
So I literally am in the car, right? So I'm like, okay, I can drive with one arm, but I don't want to go like this to try and hold the door. So I reached over to grab, where you can put like little stuff in there. Grabbed it like this, and I'm driving like this, and I'm just holding on to dear life that the door doesn't like just fly open. Because obviously you're driving and wind's hitting it. So you don't want it to just like oh shit. So I'm like, dude, I'm flexing so hard, but trying not to like let her see. And I'm panicking, and I'm holding the door for the whole like 25-minute ride, and I'm driving like this. And it was just so embarrassing for me because I was like, oh my God, like I already blew it. That's it. It's over.
It's over.
But that's one of the funny moments that I've had. Like just looking back at that, I'm like, now I have windows where I can just push the button.
Exactly.
My doors aren't like freaking faulty. I have Apple CarPlay. I can listen to my playlist. I can
get directions.
I can have air conditioner.
This maps.
With the pen. Okay, down east, North Star. Like I remember that. Now I'm like, damn. So again, my car, like it's. I look at it now, my new one. I'm like, wow. I love it. Car payment, it's kind of high, but. I'm like, it's worth everything because I don't have to worry about it breaking down on the fucking freeway. You know what I mean?
Those are like the days, man, of just pure gratitude. And then you look back at it and you appreciate it though more because it's like you said, it builds your character. It makes you appreciate 100%. Those things, little details of struggles like that.
It's crazy how like geeks, I feel like every time we talk in an episode, no matter what it is, like it's things that happened or that we went through when we were young that obviously make us to who we are now.
Right.
But it's like, it's crazy how so many things that we didn't know still like come with us. Like we're literally talking about being a geek. And then we go back to being a kid and to now. Last episode, we were talking about games, literally being how we were when we were younger to now. It's crazy how that works.
I guess like there's good things that come from pretty much everything that you go through. I think those are like like we talk about those things, I think, because of the most happiest joy things that brought us so much joy. And it just, I guess that's why it has such a deep meaning for us. And there's other subjects that I would get into, but again, there's other things that I try to like learn from my past, try to not repeat the past, and try to like push forward. I don't like to remember the bad stuff, but I mean, even though I could still talk about some of the bad stuff, but there's more good than bad, I would say. There's there's a lot of good things that I've I'd say as childhood, and now as like an adult, and there's things that now I can be grateful now for because of how everything is played out now.
Right. I feel like me and you are very much similar in just like finding the good in all things, no matter what it is. Like
that's
the worst of things can be happening, and obviously in the moment like you feel a certain way. But I feel like you have a moment where you realize like it's gonna be okay. And I think that's something just to hold on to, you know what I mean?
And then hyping other people's happiness, other people's success. I like that because I always feed off someone else's success or someone else's happiness or something that people are obsessed with, joy, whatever, that makes them go crazy. That makes me happy because it makes me realize the kind of that, they have this inside them that they love doing, and that's what I've learned is like the mental, toughness of you trying to fight all these mental things as adults now.
Like everyone's just battling their own things, whether like they talk about it or not. Everyone does, you know?
Because like when we were kids, that's why we didn't have those worries. But now the world is on our shoulders as an adult, career, job, and money, which I get. But again, it all goes back to that inner childhood, that self-care, because we're trying to mentally, fill these voids of anything, whatever it is. It could be music, stress, working out, watching movies. It could be any of those things, and that ties into our mental state and our emotional state of how we deal with stress and anxiety. And those are the things that I try to channel using those things, like, collecting those little things, because it gives us that happiness again,
like Desiree, she'll always talk about, like, when she's stressed out and stuff, like she'll she'll be like going through it and stuff, her work day and whatever, tough week, and then she'll just like want to buy stuff. She'll just want to buy things. I was like, no, like I always thought like that's a dumb way to do things, but like it's literally like retail therapy. Like you buy things, it makes you feel good about it. Maybe it's for a moment or so, but like that's something. If someone is that way, like let them. Like, that's the way. Like they, And I'm not saying she buys like things that are like thousands of dollars. She'll buy like little stuff here and there that's nice for her, that she got like a new bag, or like something Disney, like she'll just get little things here and there, and it'll make her feel good for the moment. And it's like, okay,
you said Disney, and that's like another one where I'm trying to I want to go more, because if you ever get a chance to go, I'm telling you, and when you go to Galaxy's Edge and you buy your first lightsaber, you're gonna be like, why have I not bought this earlier? You light up,
it's a car.
It's just those little things, and like you geek out because I never got to experience those experiences before.
Last time I was in Disney, I was 4 years old. I'm 27 now. I don't even remember.
I was 7 years old. My stomach is gargling. It's just
oh my god,
dude, it's like going crazy.
You're a Hot Topic employee right now. Just kidding.
But when I recently went, like 2 years ago, again, it brought out that inner childhood of me, because seeing Galaxy's Edge and the Star Wars land, and dude, I went nuts, dude. Like I was crazy. I wanted to see it. I was like drooling. So traveling helps too, any kind of, because it's like, you want to go experience those experiences.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, I think we can call it there. It summed up, literally started off as geeks, and then
segued.
It's still geeks though. It's crazy. Like it's still like it's a form. Everyone's a geek in their own way.
Yeah.
In a good way too. So
cool.
Well, I guess we will.
Yeah. Can wrap it up in there.
We'll wrap it up, and we will mentally get over this one.
We'll
that was a good talk, actually.
I like geeking out, talking about that. That's the stuff that we love, and the stuff that brings us joy. So
crazy how it starts at a young age and it gets us here, looking back.
Pretty much.
It's everything. Cool. All right, guys, call it there. That's wraps for us, and we will see you guys
next episode.
Next episode. Take it easy.
See you guys.